That one was pretty short. Let's do another. Honda. Comebacks can happen so rapidly in this game. I really like watching Guile in Street Fighter 2. Oh, that's neat. Thank you. Ah, this is a cool matchup. I bet a nickel this is 5-5. But there are some really cool things that Ryu has in it. Or that Urien has in it, rather. Like how Urien can slow down the Denjin by doing an EX super. That's actually a throw glitch. The Ocho throw. Honda was really strong, but I don't think it was a glitch about the hands. The hands were just good anyway. The hands were really hard to contest for most characters. Close forward meaty is a pretty good button for Ryu. I would call it his go-to meaty. Besides like lows and overheads. Supers were not very important at all in Street Fighter 2. It took a long time to build a super, and meter didn't carry between rounds. So you'd only really have a super around the middle of the game. They would be a factor in how good your character was, though. Like, a lot of really good characters had really good supers. Like Chun-Li or Dalsim or Balrog. Those characters had incredibly good supers. Honda probably had the worst super in the game. Ooh. Honda super, if the first hit you, you could still block the second hit, or even uppercut the second hit. Most supers were safe in Street Fighter 2, which was kind of a big deal. I think of them, only like Ken's and Honda's weren't. Oof. The Tatsu on a grounded opponent. Ooh. Oh, he had it. That was the low short. He got it. Also, he could have done the dead OS there. I saw that. I saw that, Ken. He missed out. Yeah, you can't jump out of SPDs in Street Fighter 2. Like, you're still throwable in your pre-jump frames. So you need to reversal out. Or just never be next to a grappler. Yeah. Any character who had a fireball could build super pretty quickly. Chun-Li and Ryu are the go-to examples. Oh, Guile super was unsafe, wasn't it? Oh, he dropped it. Stand Fierce would have killed. But he tried to go for the forward tackle, and he got it towards forward. Which is a normal that I forget Urien has. Ooh, that could have been a Crouch Fierce. It wasn't on his reactions. I would have had that one. The loose jump is a problem. You basically don't. You basically don't deal with them. You have to do a reversal throw. And you have to be in throw range. Which meant that if you couldn't get into throw range, if you were getting thrown from outside your throw range, you're toast. I get a lot of requests for that, but I don't know how I'd feel about showing up on it. Go tell Gutex, not me. Then I'll personally turn him down. that Stammer House was so choice. How do you get that counterpoke? It's really hard to counterpoke Urian's tackle. Most limbs just get hit in startup. Like the limb hitbox comes out and then gets hit by the tackle before the limb's hitbox can come out. I guess the Liz Stammer House is just that good. I can't believe he counterpoked that. Sefric is here. And he's got a GIF. It's a sloth. It's probably slowly smiling. Work's been okay. I would absolutely show up for a third strike version of Excellent Adventures. And Gutex would probably personally think of me. Probably be like, maybe I can get Baffin on that. Oh. The problem with a third strike Excellent Adventures is I'm not very good with that many characters except for Oro. But if I found out I was going to be on one, I'd practice up with various other characters. I'd be like, okay, let's learn Ryu in a day. My Ryu is not terrible, it's just like nowhere near my Oro. Like, I can still do all of Ryu's, like, confirms. Ken, no! He threw an EX fireball, it bounced off the mirror and hit him. He had a bad sense of when the mirror was going to end. He nearly got it right. He was, like, only a few frames too early. But he threw his fireball right into the mirror just before it broke. The mirror actually stops reflecting a little bit before it disappears. I think the mirror bounces back every single projectile in the game except Denjin. Denjin drills through it. It'll bounce back other super projectiles. I've seen it bounce back a Akuma Super 1 in a match. Aegis does not reflect Spirit Bomb. Spirit Bomb destroys Aegis immediately. Spirit Bomb is not... Spirit Bomb is questionably a projectile. Aegis bounces back Aura Super 2 though. Stones destroy the mirror. It takes, I think, 5 hits of stones to destroy the mirror, and there's actually a bug associated with that. You know how the stones have a hitbox whenever Oro has a hitbox, but otherwise they're, like... They don't have hitboxes until Oro attacks, and then they all get hitboxes for a little bit, and then they go away. If you break your stones on a mirror, then they'll have hitboxes that don't go away. And there's actually some juggles you can do. Like if you get those inherent hitboxes on your stones, and then do a forward throw, then you can combo out the forward throw into like juggles. It's really cool looking. Whoa, what's going on? There it is. That's the reason this matchup sucks. Actually, there's like 20 reasons, but that's like the main one. Yo, I love that juggle, or that combo. It's a fucking piece of beauty every time it happens. Low short, low jab, medium uppercut. Oh yeah, I've been meaning to try that Little Caesar stuffed crust. That's like new, isn't it? I actually really, really want one. Little Caesars almost certainly closes before 11. No, I like touch of stun. It just depends on the context of the touch of stun. You need to have it in an acceptable place. Makoto's command grab is probably not an acceptable place. A touch of stun is just a really, really high damage combo. Nice punish. That was a punish. Dash punches are unsafe. That was an EX something that got stuffed. Oh, the trade. EX, EX, EX Orochi with a hard uppercut. EX Orochi has no invincibility in this game, or at least none I'm aware of. But hard uppercut can trade if hit on its first active frame. It's got invincibility, but not enough to carry through to the hit. Why do you go for that? That's almost never a good idea. Oh, he had a setup after it, actually. Is that Makoto unique? I've never seen that. You can juggle light uppercut into super. You can also juggle, I think, back throw into super if you're cornered. Both of them are extremely mediocre. Where was it? There we go. It only gets one and sometimes two hits. But he had a really good fake cross-up afterwards. And then he just threw anyway. It's still a weird setup. It's like, let me waste a super so that I can get an ambiguous cross-up. Makoto wakes up slower than other characters, so it might be only a fake cross-up on her. Makoto has the slowest wake up in the game. Pretty generously, too. Ooh, that's tight. He missed the follow-up juggle. Universal overhead on a crushing opponent. Link uppercut. That's pretty nice. Normally he links super, but he didn't even have super, I think. Hard uppercut. This Ken's a nut. Reversals are really risky in this game. I like Elena timeouts. I must be the only one. I think people would have more respect for timeouts if they ever tried to time someone out. I think timeouts are exhilarating. You've got to work so hard for them. I also think they're really tense. Everyone else seems to think that timeouts are really tense. But unless, like, the guy who was trying to time out, like, still loses, then everyone acts like the tension didn't pay off. I've heard so many people say Laura's overpowered and so many people say Laura's underpowered. I just don't know what to think anymore. My own personal opinion is like probably just fucking low even. I don't know. It's hard to say. Laura's like the cast is so like almost balanced. Laura loses against a couple of the characters that everyone else loses to, and she beats a couple of the characters that everyone else beats. So in that regard, it would be very easy to say that she's like right in the middle. Oh, that was really far away to go for an uppercut. Hard uppercut. Jumping in as a meaty is a really bad idea in this game. I'm surprised that Chem went for it, the red one. If you do a jump in as your meaty attack, then it's 100% guaranteed to be a high parry. There's no way to get a low attack out of a jump. And parries are anti-safe jumps. So if you see someone going for like a perfect safe jump on you, you can just parry the hit and then throw them. I think it was the perfect safe jump that'd be able to take the throw, but they won't be able to get any offense on you. That's the point. There's no mix-up. My favorite Elena. I find it interesting that he blocked the sweep and then dashed in. That sacrificed his ability to punish. He got a mix-up, but he could have just had a raw punish in his own sweep, I think. Empty jump low is okay, but there's a consistent timing. You don't risk anything by parrying. That's the problem. If I'm just tapping forward into throw, then I'm going to throw him before he can land and get a low. And I'm going to take the throw if he lands and gets a throw. And if he lands and, like, uppercuts or something, that's insanely risky for him. One response beats, like, everything, which is why people don't go for safe jumps. Nice. Ooh, that was good. It's really hard to get that in footsies. It's easier to get it meaty. Why are there so many reversals this tournament? You normally never see them. I really like meaty in this game compared to meaty in Street Fighter 2, 4, or 5. Like, the Okizeme in this game is much more interesting than those games. Partially because of parries and partially because of, like, the lack of, like, jumping. There's, like, very poor mix-up, and the lack of reversals, I guess, makes it a lot better. There's a very poor mix-up in other fighting games, I feel like. Oof. Like, it's not always worth pursuing. In Third Strike, every character goes for Oki. Even characters with, like, very poor offense, it's still worth it to go for Oki. I don't know if I'd call Karine mediocre. I feel like she's just, like, middle of the pack. She does some things a lot better than other characters. She does some things a lot worse than other characters. The things that she does really well aren't super useful. The things that she does poorly aren't super useful. That was a pretty good punish. Hugo's is a bit tricky because Body Splash stays out even when it's Null Graze box. Mediocre, I usually quit with bad. Oof. What do you try to do? A high parry there is usually good. Is that a punish? I was surprised. It didn't look like one. And yet, why would you go for that unless it worked? Nice. At first, I was really expecting Justin Wong to play Chun-Li, but the way that he ended up playing Elena, I mean, why'd I say Elena? Karine. The way that he ended up playing Karine, like, he plays her so much to his strengths. He made her look like his character, like she was designed with him in mind. He could have comboed out of that. 2 hits, he could have reacted. Gone for low strong, he wasn't ready. Elena players are never ready. Oh, that sucks. Elena went for the parry, but Urian didn't even hit. Good reaction block. This is actually an okay situation for Elena. Urian's used all his meter. Elena's a better character meterless than Urian is. Now it's looking a bit worse. I think that he could have punished that tackle. And there it goes. I'm surprised that hit. That's like the max range of that. Later, SFL. That was like the max range of the hard version. I think Justin is up there. I think the very best. I don't know about Fudo or Momochi. Nah. I feel like the very best U.S. players are as good as the upper echelon of like Japanese players in previous fighting games. And in Street Fighter V, it's hard to say because we haven't seen much crossplay yet. But I wouldn't be surprised if Justin Wong is about as good as any of the best players in Japan. I wouldn't be surprised if Justin Wong was top 5 players in the world in Street Fighter V. Looking at his play, looking at his success rate, I would call him top 5. I'm not sure if I would yet call. What the fuck kind of punish was that? Elenas are so bad at punishing. I don't know if I would call Daigo one of the top 5 players, although he has been doing some nice stuff lately. Huh? Damn, of all the ways to go down. Infiltration is like unquestionably number 1. No one is playing on Infiltration's level yet. Mew. A 5-0 is a pretty nice thing. I wouldn't be surprised if Daigo had been studying that matchup kind of intensely. Actually, I wouldn't be surprised if Daigo had been studying every matchup kind of intensely. F-Champ has a very different style than Art. I mean, obviously, Art is like the hyper defense, and F-Champ is like the hyper offense of Dalsim. You know, as offensive as you can really conceivably make Dalsim without him sucking. But also like it's like the comparison between like Diminion's Guile and Knuckle Dew's Guile. Knuckle Dew being the F-Champ. It's like one of them is like is highly based around ultra consistent play, and one of them is highly based around like ultra random play. You know what I mean? Taking on new weaknesses just to get inconsistency of play. Does that make any sense to anyone else? I think in that regard that F-Champ is harder to get a read on, harder to react, harder to become better at fighting compared to say Art. Nice. Oh shit, this is a Super 1 Urian, and he's having a hard time finding a place to land it. I didn't even notice that. Super 1 is less bad than you would think, but it's nowhere near as good as Super 3. That comes up every now and then when we actually see a Super 1 Urian. Temporal's not that bad either, but Super 1 is not Temporal. Temporal Thunder is Super 2. The thing about Super 1 Urine is it gives him a bunch of converts off of situations where he otherwise can't convert, such as after a tackle or as a reversal or like stuff like that. All of Urian supers are pretty good, believe it or not. But Aegis is like unquestionably the best. But there's not like Super 1 is not without merit. Super 1 against Akuma is kind of smart because you can punish tackles with it. I mean, you can punish teleports with it, and you can't do anything with a mirror to prevent teleporting. And you can follow tackles with it. Q Super 1 is, yeah, pretty much the same thing. Pretty much identical. Urian's one is vaguely better in juggles. Q's is nearly useless in juggles. You usually get 1 or 2 hits. Urian can often get several. And he's less unsafe. Ugh. That was a good parry. It would have been nice to be followed up by other parries. Oh, that could have been several good punishes. Oh, that could have been dash punch. He didn't react. This is kill if he does it right. There's prior stun too. He doesn't even need the hard combo. But he went for the hard combo and he dropped it. Holy shit, that is slow. Right now, because there's only one super and because super is very instrumental, it's a balance thing. Every super has to do everything. You know what I mean? Ooh, the short Kara taunt. That was cool. Every super has to work in juggles. Every super has to like be able to combo from special moves. Every super has to have invincibility. What I would really like for them to do, which I think they'll never ever do, is add a second super that you have at the same time as your first super, and then remove some of the utility of the first supers, and then put it in the second super instead. Like some combo that used to work into the super you currently have no longer works, but the second super works there. I want alpha style, 2 simultaneous supers. Hmm. Different Tatsus hit at different speeds. I don't know if Akuma's hits faster than Ken. I know that all their air Tatsus are different speeds. Against other Shadows, Aura can do 1 parry on air Tatsu into air throw, but Akuma's air Tatsu is too fast. So Akuma, even with the parry freeze, Akuma's air Tatsu hits too quickly for Aura's, or at the start of Aura's air throw to resolve. Whoa. They should add ES moves from Darkstalkers. This matchup is really neat. Urian is probably the best character who still gets shut down by fireballs. I think Urian can't naturally crouch the high fireball, but if he low forwards, it goes under it. So he has to whiff a low forward to get under it. Look, there's no avoiding it. Like half screen or greater fireballs are just useless. There's no change you can make full screen fireballs useful. Even if you made like fireballs gain damage the further they traveled or something. The easiest thing they could do to make fireballs better is make it so the parry freeze was a lot longer. So it would have absolutely no effect if you parried your opponent, but if you parried a fireball, the opponent could like come in and hit you while you were parrying. This is like this is like the fairest match in which Remy's zoning actually functions, which makes it rather interesting. Yatagarasu added a lot of option selects though. In fact, the parry in general is way easier to option select in Yatagarasu than it is in Third Strike. Interesting juggle. I think he wanted to hit Remy more. Ugh. He wanted at least one of the hits of that mirror to not be used up. Yugo. Atsugari. I've seen this guy. He's good. So I jump forward. Hugo actually has a decent reason to hit every one of his air normals. Except maybe like jump short. Jump, jab, and strong have really nice hitboxes, and they have a difference in speed that you'd want one sometimes and the other sometimes. Jump fierce goes really far. Jump roundhouse is easier to hit a grounded opponent with. Body splash is good. It's very rare in this game that you would hit all of your air normals. But Hugo's all have some purpose. Oh! He missed it. He was closer to the wall than he wanted to be. Oh, there's another chance. There it is. That's a reasonably difficult juggle to pull off. You can't use the hard versions of both at all. If you use hard clap, you have to use a lower version of shoot down, and if you use light clap, if you use hard shoot down, you have to use a lower version of clap. I don't remember what damage optimal way to do it is, but the harder versions you use, the harder it is to make it damage optimal. Or like the harder it is to do. The closer it is to damage optimal, the harder it is to do. You can just use light clap and light shoot down, and it's pretty easy. This matchup would be really bad if not for Urian's headbutt, but Urian's headbutt is really useful in it. It lets you easily dodge Karakusa attempts. It's like the lowest commit Karakusa dodge in the game. Besides like Q crouching. I'm not even sure if Makoto can block Urian's headbutt. I think she's too short. Like even if she stand blocks. And it whiffs really quickly, so it's kind of hard to punish without hitting in midair. And if she goes for a command grab, he can actually land and grab her before she can recover. So it's not very risky for him. And it, yeah, that. Well, he didn't get it in time. I think it's a punish. It might not be. It makes footsies a lot easier for Urian, because he doesn't really have to be as afraid of the Command grab his other characters. Yeah, some characters you can do it mid-screen, but it requires a forward dash, and whether or not that forward dash is possible is based on how far you are from the corner, because it takes different amounts of time for the opponent to be thrown towards the corner. So there's like a dead zone, like it works in the corner, and then there's a dead zone, and then it works mid-screen, and then there's another dead zone. Hugo struggles actually change quite a lot depending on where he lands the ultra throw, which is kind of neat. I'm pretty sure just raw shoot down backbreaker works anywhere. It might not work absolutely full screen, like if you're in the corner and you get an ultra throw, you might have to do lariat. Pretty sure lariat works anywhere. Like every possible way you can land ultra throw, you can get lariat follow up. Lariat's pretty low damage though. A bunch of backdashes aren't airborne in this game. Like most of them aren't airborne. There's like no reason to use backdashes except for mobility for the most part in this game. Hamza. Hamza's like a Middle Eastern name, isn't it? Pretty sure. It's like Iran, I think. Iranian name. The neutral throw. The headbutt's real annoying for Hugo too. It's safe on block. Ugh. That didn't combo. I guess he had to use strong. I mean, EX chariot tackle. What's going on with the graphics here? There it is. The thing about the Ken versus Makoto crash is that Ken's neutral throw is garbage and you'll avoid it at all costs anyway. But theoretically, someone could intentionally do it at any point. It's not very hard to do. If Ken neutral throw kills Makoto, it crashes the game. Because she has like no animation or something. Ooh. I didn't think he'd get close enough to do that. I would have got grabbed there. Good reaction. Akagao to Alex. Here he is. That's a bit more typical. Alex normals work quite well in this matchup. You think there'd be a lot of throwing, but there's almost no throwing from either side. Alex zones with normals. Alex normals are pretty much the same speed as Hugo's. They're a bit faster and they go further. So really he just shuts down Hugo's approach pretty well. He can also easily resist getting cornered with a few EX shoulders / elbows. That in range? Wow. That was like right around max range. It goes pretty far. Oh, that could have been super. I think he wanted super. Stand short. Parry stand short. You would go for EX chop or super there. You wouldn't go for light chop. Wow. He got it. Lucky jump in. That was close. I think they thought with like certain characters and certain normals, like Alex shouldn't really want to get away from most characters. So it's okay if he has a normal with good pushback. Like that would be a downside for him. Jump back short. That's an instant overhead on Hugo. Third strike was actually made in 99 and Makoto was only introduced then. Alex is doing a much better job controlling the match, but he's not keeping up in damage. Like this whole set. He's controlling the space really well, but he's doing way less damage than Hugo is. That's a punish. A very good one. He hit the landing recovery. That mattered a lot. Now all he has to do is avoid a super, which should be pretty easy. If I were him, I would do like jump back roundhouse on a Hugo jump forward. Yeah, his whole game plan is just don't get thrown. That's pretty much perfect. I thought it was just I think the greatest. No, what do you call it? I think it was either Dreamcast or arcade, not arcade. PS2 game, Xbox version. They got the unblockable patch. The unblockable patch was an unintentional bug fix, like an unintentional balance patch, intentional bug fix. FF9 is a really good game, but I really hate how long it holds your hand, which makes it really aggravating to replay. Also, the entire game is stealing, which pisses me off. It's like like the fact that you have to have a thief in your party all the time, and the way that they did like items and the way they did thievery just means that you're constantly going to be stealing the whole playthrough, which I kind of hate. It's like what if you were playing Pokemon but you had to catch every Pokemon you ran into? The ability system is quite good. Rocket Upper is not so rare. Most Dudleys, Super 3 has become more common these days, but most Dudleys back then, uh, most Dudleys through most of the game's life were pretty much indifferent with Super 1 and Super 3. For Oro is not a big nerf. Oro can just switch to Super 3, which works in every matchup. Super 2 is only slightly better than Super 3 in some matchups. For Urien, it pretty much destroyed his character. But pretty much everyone petitioned for the unblockables to be put back in. Like, not just Oro and Urien players, like literally every player was like, these characters were fine as is. They were competitive with their unblockables. The unblockables were fair. It's a shame that Freya is literally never touched again. From the Aoife tree? No, not even the Aoife tree. What's the tree? Clara. From Clara up until like the end of disc 3, Freya has absolutely nothing. And then you get a couple active time events that show her kind of semi-relating with Amarant. And then that's it. Then she gets nothing for the rest of the game. Freya gets no character development. Nice parry. Aw. The first it whiffed, so it didn't hit that quickly, which meant he could easily parry it after this freeze. Unblockables are escapable using parry. Amarant is really OP. He's also very fun. I also like that he doesn't get that much development, and the development he does get is extremely hilarious. Amarant was handled pretty much perfectly as far as I care. You don't really need that much background for Amarant, and the development he gets in the current time is amazing. Why is he blue? It's like him and Queen Braun are just blue. They're like the only people in the whole game that are blue. I wonder if they're related. The community was very vocally against a rebalance for Third Strike, but I contend that this is one of the biggest consistent mistakes I've ever seen in all fighting games. Like, it was so dumb that it actually made me angry. Yeah, that was Jaro, I think. I wasn't looking. Yeah, I could find that rant. It was like a large number of people being retarded, in my opinion. Online Edition survived as long as it did. No, that's like the opinion that I regard as really toxic. If you want Arcade Perfect, you can go play arcades. You can go play fucking Fightcade. It gives you Arcade Perfect. Arcade Perfect already exists. That's like my main complaint. Is that everyone wants like... And they could make an Arcade Perfect too and still make the rebalance. That's what they did with HD Remix. They made one version that was Arcade Perfect, and then they made another version that changed, made creative character balance changes. And then they shipped both of them. What about it isn't like Arcade Perfect? First I've heard. All the differences between OE and Arcade are cosmetic. And they're really minor cosmetic things. It's like the super meters are slightly different. The portraits are a bit different. The artwork is a bit different. I mean, the portraits and artwork are way different. I've never noticed lag. If there's lag, it's not significant. Oof. Major spoilers. That song that plays is called You Are Not Alone, and it's one of the best songs in the whole game. That's a very like Manly Tears part of the game. I played for years on MAME, and then I played for years on GGPO, and now I played for years on Fightcade, and I played for years on Online Edition. It's all the same shit. Whatever differences there are don't mean anything to me. Nice juggle. That's tight. Those last two tackles. That was difficult to get, but Tai has a very good Urian. My first playthrough of Final Fantasy IX, I actually got stuck on Soul Cage, the boss in the SF3, which is really funny because he's the boss you can use a Phoenix down on to instantly reduce his HP to 1. Nice jump. This can kill. Oh yeah, that's super optimal. Yes! No, he was a bit early. He did the Urian specific Tengu setup. Or not Tengu, whatever, Yago. Every character has a different setup you have to do. Urian bounces twice off of medium and hard fireball, so you have to do light. You have to do light super. And light super has really awkward juggles that also only work if you're cornered. Nice escape. Very smart. I feel like almost every balance change that needs to happen in Third Strike could be done only by modifying super meters. If Ken had 2 Shippus, that would be just fine. If Yun's Ganejin meter was slightly longer, that would be just fine. If Chun-Li could only hold 1 super at a time, that would be just fine. Tricky, tricky. Super didn't end up doing anything. That was a good escape from the Urian. Nice. Beatrix is like the easiest boss. You don't even have to beat Beatrix, you just have to live. You just have to steal everything. Nice. Nice. It is scripted, but you can die before the scripted part happens. I was kind of frustrated by how they handled Beatrix. She was a cool character, but like you never really get your comeuppance against her, you know what I mean? There's no like there's no confession of error on her part. There's no I was blindly following orders and that was a mistake on her part. She basically just fucks you over and then everything's okay. Ooh, that's why you don't do that. No firewalls in this matchup. This matchup is really bad. I've played it many times. I like Super 2 as Oro in this matchup. That's brave. A lot of people run Super 3 because of the Touch of Death, but Super 2 helps you more in footsies, which is the really big area. The official matchup chart has put it at 8-2 for every Yoma. I said official like official meant something. The most popular matchup chart has always put it as 8-2. That was an inescapable setup. If she tried to parry, she would get hit by the command grab. You can't tech that command grab. He'd have to block that command grab while and then immediately red parry the hits of the fireball. It'd be like parry, block, red parry. And that would be like frame perfect timing. This matchup is the worst matchup that doesn't involve a low tier. I like this. Yeah, that was pretty nice. Low parry. He got an accidental fireball because she jumps over his head. Bad charging. Jump. It's a bit risky. That loses to the overhead and the low. Aura builds meter so much slower than Chun-Li. I Huh, she left forward under the firewall. That's impressive. Nice parrying. No, Aura's meter doesn't matter that much in this matchup. Chun's is more important. If both of them build meter at the same time, Chun-Li builds meter faster than Aura does, and her meter is more useful. And like Aura, when Aura has more than a bar, then it really doesn't matter how much he has because he can kill you regardless. IMO, she was absolutely 100% okay with letting him build meter to build her own. He can a little bit, but he has to be able to get like some way. Once she has a super, he can't put up EX fireballs or super safely because she can just punish it. Her super punishes his fireballs even from full screen. So you've got to get a knockdown to convert that super lead into a footsie advantage. And that's difficult. It's very difficult to knock Chun-Li over. Oh, that was unfortunate because he could have gotten a good anti-air there. The reason she's not quick standing is because, oh, was that a failed? I think he wanted a super reset. Nice. Very nice. Good use of normals. Now he's got the life lead and fucking time's nearly up. And Oro is very good at running away. This is one of Oro's strong areas. Yeah. Ooh, that was it! Alright, still got him. Shame about that. Anytime both players are building meter, you have to consider whose meter is more useful. Chun-Li's meter is more useful than pretty much every single character. Because Chun-Li goes from being like a mid-tier to like a top tier once she gets a bar. Or rather, a mid-tier to OMG broken tier. Jump 3 hard punch is pretty much only used for juggles. You can use it for a combo starter at certain jump heights. But it doesn't air to air very well. Oh shit, did it freeze on the peen frame on the timeout? Hold on. We're at 58.09. No, not that frame. Alright, there we go. Good enough. Zidane, Freya, Steiner, and Amarant. That is the easy mode team. Team No Magic. Yeah, Hugo-chan is almost certainly an 8-2 as well. Huh. Yeah, the parry's on that. I don't know the parry timing on that. I would fail to parry that. I don't like a team without Echo or Dagger. Or maybe what's her face? Its face. Quina. I need at least one of those three. Any team I make. Usually is Echo. Oh, a headbutt. Maybe should have been his ender. Down hard punch is actually a pretty good anti-air. Is that a punish? No. Chipped. Down fierce is actually a pretty good anti-air, but it's so vulnerable to getting parried. It's your ass if it's parried. But it's kind of scary doing jump in parry on Hugo because he's got an unparryable anti-air grab. Yes, 100 dragons killed. Steiner and Freya have a really easy time hitting the damage cap. I think Freya's also doesn't cost very much magic, which is really nice. The absolute cheapest damage cap, I think, is Frog Drop. But it's probably the most annoying to level up. Hugo is really tall. Same reason fucking Goken Medium Fireball hits Hugo. Steiner has the easiest time getting max damage of any character. Literally all you have to do is get him the right weapon. Steiner's damage is through the roof already. Once you get like shock, it's just game over. Oof. Stun juggles with Hugo are pretty easy. And Hugo gets them quite often because air to air, down fierce. People tend to jump out of corners against Hugo. Air to air, down fierce does a lot of stun and gives you a lot of time for a stun juggle. I know Hugo stun juggles and I don't play Hugo. Stand strong only adds 1 to the juggle counter, so you're guaranteed to get 3 of them if you get an air to air dizzy with down fierce. And you're guaranteed to get 6 if you get anti-air stand strong. It just juggles into itself super easily. Or you could do like 1 strong into a jab into a shoot down backbreaker or something like that. Ryu can do a lot of stuff. It's just he has a hard time hitting the juggle limit. Like he's got a lot of follow-ups, but he has a hard time like converting most of his follow-ups into the same follow-ups. He doesn't have anything looping except like close jab, which you mentioned. But you can see like plenty of them in the YSB. I mean YSB. KYSG Ryu. Ryus are shorter. It'll be like 2 or 3 options. Max damage and max style are very, very, very important decision during stun juggles. This is Roshi Hikari. I haven't seen him in a long time. This guy is usually regarded to be the best or the second best Yang, alongside like KO. Super 3 is pretty good against Dudley, I think. Not so useful against Oro. I would understand why he would pick 2 in this matchup. You wouldn't believe how much you can break the game just by doing a lot of Chocobo hot and cold as soon as you can. You can get really OP weapons for everyone as soon as Chocobo hot and cold becomes available. It's also kind of fun. You have to do quite a lot of legwork for most characters' ultimate items. I think Zidane's ultimate item comes from Chocobo hot and cold. Oh, that was a non-EX uppercut that got grabbed. Was he really trying that hard to save his meter? That was a terrible decision. Non-EX uppercut is not terribly fast. Um, doesn't have throw or hit invincibility. Profoundly don't like that decision on his part. Tominaga. Aja was my main in my brief stint in that game. I was really impressed with her design. It was very fun. Here we go. That's some Sayambu stuff. Oh my god, Sayambu is such a cool super. Is Chadha high tier? Every time I've ever seen anyone playing that game, there's been a Chadha on the screen. Canadian gets better normals. They all have much faster startup. Or wait, what are you talking about? Oh, a jet. Yeah. I hate when a grappler's top tier. Kazuya, this is a really good Alex player. The players are in full force this tournament. Kazuya, in my opinion, is probably the second best, if not the best Alex. He's impressive. Genki is probably the best. Genki's the one that most people call the best. Oh, I forgot to watch tournaments again. Using Dizzy to push the opponent to the corner is something that you do a lot in Third Strike and almost not at all in other fighting games. What about Crow makes him significantly better than Ko? I'm really curious. Is that it? Wow, shit. Made it through that. How long is this one? I'll decide whether I want to watch it. This is the same one, isn't it?